right, it is here. Here is the video review for IF-EX66 Blade of HALPHAS, aka Guy Hawk, the last of the main members of Vine Kaiser from Iron Factory, Lyle Kaiser, if you want to use his OG name. But yeah, he's here, pink jet, very cool, and happy to get him. Looking forward to Fengabotus. Really like helicopters. I don't know, I like him. I'm glad they're making him. I like his little snake partner. I'll probably put him on as an arm just to test him, but I think I'm going to be okay keeping him separate from the combiner itself. But anyway, it's here. This one came in from Chosen Prime. All the stores should have them soon if they don't already. I did have it pre-ordered at TF stores, but I fell victim to the whole, somebody got it first, and it's the last member of a team. Got to get it. So swapped orders and got him. But here it is. Very cool little pinkish red jet, and it's very similar to I'm gonna say the wrong thing, Scythe of Bifrons, aka Hellbat, but not entirely. So the lower body is the same, some of the torso is the same, the wings, the back plate and the wings attach differently. Obviously it's got two fins back here versus the single fin, and a different cockpit. These little air vents work differently on the Scythe of Bifrons there. The little vents, intakes on the shoulders are attached to the arm. Here they're separate pieces up here, but for the most part there's a lot of core mechanics that are similar between them. You can fold the landing gear up, you can fold these landing gear up, but like in jet mode there's some resistance there because of the way the legs are collapsed. You can force them through, but like it's easier just kind of pull the legs out a little bit, fold these up, and then actually maybe we can just do that and then close them down, fold those up, recollapse the legs, back together, and they are, if you want to have the landing gear up. Yeah, very spooshable like many of the jets, and transformation is very similar. Again, some of the connector points are a little different here. And in this one's case, the wings are just on the single ball joint. They're not on that swivel hinge or anything. So you can just lift them up like that. And there's a peg on the arm that pegs into here versus into the body. And then you just kind of bring the arms up and around up here. Arms up and around up here. And then the intakes are on little dual hinges, so you can bring them up and out over the arms like that. Again, just kind of pull it out on that hinge, out over the arm like that. Just bring the arm around, rotate it, flip out the fist, straighten the elbow. The elbow kind of collapses a little bit into the arm for transformation. Bring the fist out. Down here, fold these inward like that. Extend the legs like we just saw. Flip down the feet like that. These can fold up against the leg. You can fold them forward or back, whichever way you prefer. Unpeg them from each other. Turn his head around. The wings, you can leave them like this if you want, or you can rotate them up and around like that. You can kind of even angle them out to the side if you wish. The butt plate does angle here if you want to get some room backwards, but again, with the wings there, they kind of interfere with that, but bring the wings back. And then the cockpit, untab it, because there's some little tabs here, bring it out, up like that, and there's a ball joint there, just kind of swivel it down and around onto his back. And there he is in robot mode. And you got a ball joint at the neck, ball joint shoulders. These can get out of the way for posability. Bicep swivel, dual hinge elbows, wrist swivel. You got a waist swivel there, ball joint hips, thigh swivel, dual hinge knees if you get them extended all the way. Although they are a little limited by the armor and such, but they do have dual hinges in there. There we go, get those all the way up and out. Then you got some toe tilt and some ankle tilt as well. Go ahead. Oh, Just stand up for a second, my friend. There we go. Well, we get your accessories. We'll go ahead and angle the wings back. So accessories, this is the standard non-transforming chest plate like we've seen on all of the figures so far. And then there is the transforming chest plate that you can plug in like that. Or you can, pop the foot off of there. But peg's in there really tight. There we go. You flip I popped off one of his little birdie legs. But if you flip the tail over, you can see there's some sculpted gun barrels on the underside of the tail. You can fold these up however you want, really, to make it look more like a gun. And then the peg that was pegged into the chest, we pop off this fist. You get the bag. Again, we're not going to put all the little hands on. We get a bag of like the karate chop hands, the open hands, and then the holding hands, just like we've gotten with several of the other ones. We'll go ahead and put one of the holding hands on here to have him hold his weapon. It's that one. I got the right hand. Great. And just like Spirit Bifrons, you want to kind of support this post, or just let it fold all the way in to get this to tab on properly, because it is on a hinge that you got to really get behind to support it. Come on. There we go. Rotate around. Also, wings on ball joints, happen to pop that off just so they grab it wrong. Snap it right back in. No big whoop. Yeah. And then you can have him hold his weapon like that. Little bird gun. Probably the more effective or like weapon-y looking of some of the animals we've gotten. You also get a non-transforming weapon that he can hold as well. Or maybe he's supposed to flip the wings out like that for the weapon mode. I don't know. That seems too much. But anyway, non-transforming weapon. And then, of course, the breast partner. Aside from being a gun, you flip his little hawk head up, fold the peg in, bring the little feet down, put the tail up, and the wings out, and you've got a little hawk companion as well. Other bits and baubles he comes with the requisite spear with the removable tips. Those tips go on the little blade weapon, which will build when Fang and Bodis gets here. We might be able to put that whole thing together now, but I haven't fiddled with all the pieces involved to try that. We can finish the scythe here, and we'll show that off in a minute. But you get another one of these spears. You get a second one of these grips that the combiner hands can hold. You get the requisite hingy modular posts and connector bits, like you do with all the other ones. And then you get two of these little swords slash size. They've got bendable posts here, so you can have them hold it like that if you want. It's like a small hatchet. You can have them hold it like a sword. You can also, there is a little post inside there. You can attach it if you want to the end of the spear to give it a different kind of blade there. You should fold that down, give him like a better spear. And of course you get the combiner part, which we'll see in just a minute. Arrange some stuff over here, and we'll go ahead and swap this fist back out. You can, all of these characters, if you want to leave the open fists for them to hold weapons attached, you can. And for the most part, they will, as you can see, when you fold this fist up, the tips of it kind of stick out, but don't affect the transformation. With the holding hands, it'll stick out a little bit more, just because they're a slightly larger hand. But all of them are fully transformable with them attached, although I can't remember if it was one of the tanks. There's one that, like, they do, you can snap everything and smush everything together properly, but the fists do stick out, maybe a little unwieldily. I don't know if that's unwieldily is a word, but in alt mode, but maybe it wasn't even alt mode, it was combined mode. I think it was Kill Bison, but I could be wrong. But you can do it. I just usually prefer the closed fist because they're the least obtrusive in the alt modes. And to turn him into a limb, it's, again, very similar to what we did with Bifrons. We just want to fold up the arms like this on that double hinge, rotate them up. The wings are just going to stay back like this, and then these are going to, that peg's going to go right in here under the wing. Same on this side. You may need to, being a double hinge, you may need to slide it forward or back to get it to peg in easily, but once you do, it's there. Lift this whole back plate out. Or I guess open up the back plate. But before you do that, you want to take this, again, there's the friction hinge, and bring this whole assembly here down and out. And that gives you the free space inside here to open this up and fold his head, turn his head around, and fold it into the body. And then close this back up, and you can bring this up and over on the various hinges here. Like that. And then we're going to rotate it where this little cutout here is. You want to rotate right under the waist. You want to rotate that out to here. It'll squeak a little bit. And then snap that down back into place. And then we're going to collapse, pull out the landing gear. Not only fold up the feet first, flat like that, pull the landing gear down. It does kind of look like the landing gear should hook into this slot, but I haven't been able to successfully do it. It's just a little thicker. I'm not going to force it, but have the landing gear tab line up roughly with that first slot in the foot. Open up these panels right here. The fins on this are attached. So you don't get there's a little, they don't open up quite as wide as Bifrons without popping, as you just saw, without popping the tail fin off, but that's just a friction peg. So you can just snap that right back on, but open it up just a little bit, and wiggle the legs down. I find it's a little easier to do these individually because you can get some thumb support right up here at the top of the leg and just collapse them individually. Trying to do them both at the same time is a little, I mean, your mileage may vary. You might be better at doing it than I am. I found individually is easier for me to get done. Then peg the legs back together. Get them. Also, the other thing here is like getting that together is harder than it is on Bifrons. I'm not sure why. These fold in like this. This side folds in flat against the body. This side's going to stick straight out to be the second fin as part of the arm. It's actually pretty cool. Let's see what I'm talking about. But bring the arm out like that. Bend it on this friction hinge here that plugs into the waist. And this piece right here, there's a connector piece, and you can see there's this little notch here. At the top of it, it's not entirely square. And that lines up with the notch here. So just take this piece and slide it over that. That helps sticking out the arm and support that hinge so it's not bending in an awkward way in arm mode. And once you've done that, you've got them like this. Like I said, here's the second fin. Just like we did before, take this fist. The wheels are going to go up in these divots. These posts are going to go up where the wheels were in the leg. And you got the opposable fist attached. It may take a little bit of wiggling to attach it. And there's the arm mode. And with the opposable hand and the ball joint at the wrist, you can see what I'm talking about. There's I like using this fin, even though this is technically the other fin, to represent the two fins on the back of the plane here in arm mode. And you can bring this, slide that up like that. And once you've done that, all you gotta do is bring over the rest of the team here. Bring the camera up here. And just like before, this little slots tab is gonna go here in the abdomen. And then this tab right here is going to go in the chest slot. And we're just going to attach. You can take a little bit of wiggling at first to get that all lined up. And look, there it is. Fully posable. It's got all the posability it had before, all the posability in the legs. The arm here has the same posability as we already showed off over here. But you got a nice, very posable, very cool Lio Kaiser. And as I mentioned last time, we couldn't quite finish it off, but here is all the parts of the big scythe weapon that they show you how to make. One of those hand grips we were just showing off, a couple of the solid posts, this kind of piece with this piece, the two drills, alternate hand drills from Drill Bison, or Drill Tank, no, Drill Bull, no, Drill Rhino, whatever, Drill Horn, yes. The bigger spear blades from the Spear of Marbus from Leozak, here on this angled piece, scythe from Scythe of Bifrons, and then we're going to take the two claws from the Claws of Oz, Jaguar here, and these two bladed weapons right here. We're going to take this like this, and then these square pegs are going to just like this. So the blade sticks out, and then the handle goes this way. And then once you have that, you just sandwich the other one around it. And then where those two pegs are, they're going to peg into these two holes right here on the front of the scythe. And there you go. Now, if you'd rather have the scythe weapon facing forward, if you'd like to, you can just rotate it around. The instructions show it built like this, which is how I'm doing it. And with this facing front, the hand can only hold this in one direction. So we're going to do it like that. But there is the big scythe weapon, which we can put... Get the fingers through there, it tabs into the hand, and then we can wrap the fingers around it, and now he's got that big weapon. And like I said, I've got the guns on his back, but if you want to really weapon him up, again, we'll build the big Beyblade chain thing once Fang of Bodis is here. But we can take these guns off, take the handle we got earlier, sandwich them together, and give him a giant gun, which you can hold in, again, can be held in either hand. Just plug it in, wrap the fingers around it. And he's tight. All of his joints are fully supportive of, even with these heavy weapons, holding onto them, showing them off, wielding them, however you want to call it. And yeah, there it is. This is fantastic. I've never... Like, one, it's just the right size. Like, he's not too big. He's a very solid combiner. The posability is great. I know a lot of that comes at the cost of having a lot of the extra combiner bits be big chunks of robot that you're plugging guys into. But the figure-wise, from what I've seen in pictures, I've never owned a G1 Laokaiser. The individual figures are roughly the same size as the originals. Not one-to-one. Obviously, there were some chunkier bits on some, the way they would all be, turn into limbs. But the overall robot is much more streamlined and elegant and looks really nice here on this Iron Factory version. The posability is great. It's stable. It's solid. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really, really happy with it. And as a quick comparison, here he is with Iron Factory's previous combining efforts. Here is their Bruticus. I forget what they called him. And here is their Spirits of the DEC combiner, aka the DJD, the Tarn combiner. And like I said, I just feel like they've been knocking it out of the park with these combining figures. The one thing that I do, like, Laokaiser is, I think, probably the most refined and solid combined robot as a whole. But one of the things that they accomplish that, again, by making some of those big parts of the robots that plug in. And one of the things that they did sacrifice for Laokaiser is, like, unlike these two, you don't get... If you're playing with the individual robots, you just have a bunch of giant robot parts lying around. Whereas with these guys, if you take all the smaller robots apart and play with them, the extra bits needed to make the giant combiners would form those cool little, like, busts or statues of the robots. And I thought that was really cool and a really neat idea. And it's kind of... It's a trade-off a little bit to lose it here with Laokaiser, but when the combined robot is just so vibrant and nice and solid and fun, I can accept that as a trade-off. But I do really like how these had those little bust figures that when you weren't using them in the fully combined mode. Also, I will say the pink here or the pinkish red of Blade of HALPHAS really does pull that whole thing together. Because the last week when I've been having him standing around without him on, it seemed almost a little blue heavy. And putting on that red arm, there's something about it. Just having the whole thing complete is a great joy. But really kind of brings that whole, the different colors together and makes a really cool looking combined robot. But there is IF-EX66 Blade of HALPHAS. They did get it out, shipped to retailers before everything shut down for Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese New Year if you celebrate. Hopefully we'll see Fang of Bodis not long after everything kicks back into gear after the holiday. But again, I can be a little bit more patient. I'm glad they got both the arms out, boom, right beforehand, because that few day wait between him and him getting here was like, I just need one more. Bodis, aka Death Cobra. Like, I'm looking forward. I think that's probably the single individual figure I'm looking forward to the most. Especially now that I've got Leozak there. I think he was one of the ones I was initially looking forward to the most out of this set. But I'm looking forward to playing with him. I'm looking forward to trying him out as a limb here on Lyle Kaiser. But like, just this by itself, it's just fantastic. It's just a lot of fun, and I highly, highly recommend it. If you haven't gotten into this scale of figure or Iron Factory's offerings, this is a fantastic place to start. Although I do worry that if you start here, a lot of other stuff is going to be downhill. Because I think they really, really nailed it with this one. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I hope you all are doing well. I hope if you're waiting on yours that they get here soon. And I hope everything is going okay. It's almost end of January. It's hard to believe it's still January. It feels like it's been January for like 3 months. But anyway, here we are. Take it easy. Be well. See you soon.